I'm standing beside one of the great examples of Chinese engineering. Completed in 1968 after 6 years of construction, this is the Yangtze River Bridge. And lying 12 kilometers to the east of here, we can find her sister. Completed in 2002, this is the Nanjing No. 2 Bridge. And between these two huge bridges, believe it or not, lies something even bigger. This is nothing less than a forest of steel, amid which one feels overpowered, for it is cold, it is hard, and it is powerful. Today, we will go behind the scenes and meet the man who is the leader of this steel kingdom. He is the man behind the steel. This is Dr. Bernd Blumenberg, president of BYC, the largest investment in the history of the chemical giant BASF. Every day, he would look over the enormous plant through this window, while his shoulders would solely bear the weight of responsibility for this staggering investment over the past 10 years. At first, he may give the impression of being a serious, cold, powerful man.
Anyone who takes a job as this seriously cannot take it easy. This is a 7 days a week responsibility. During the startup period, you run the risk of technical failure, which can result in financial losses in the hundreds of millions. But also there is a safety risk. You can have fires or explosions which can hurt or even kill many people.
Even though he is not by nature a serious and tough man, Dr. Blumenberg certainly has enough reason to be so. But we wondered if this was a universal opinion among his colleagues.
我们跟布先生在一块相处，我们配合非常默契，相处非常愉快。我每年都会收到他的生日短信。
He is a man of candor, respecting the intelligence and commitment of every Chinese employee in the company.
同时，他也很富有人情味儿。比如说，在我们的装置全面开车成功的时候，他特地从德国订购了一批葡萄酒来，作为对大家庆祝开车成功的一种礼物。
Well, that's more than a little surprising. There is obviously a lot more behind the steel than first meets the eye. This is Dr. Blumenberg's home in a very royal and regal suburb of Nanjing. We'll take a step inside now to discover a little bit more of what lies behind the steel.
I was asked in April of '96 whether I would like to head a big company in China. And after looking at it, I said, yes, that's an opportunity, one-time opportunity in your life. And I think this was something you can only dream of in such a career, as a technical chemist in a major chemical company.
The BYC project in China is certainly unique. It's unique in almost all of the world. As the leader of such an enormous thing, you must have felt tremendous stress.
You have to have somebody who supports you in their job privately, and for the minimum free time which is remaining is a loving and caring partner for you.
The support of your wife must have been an enormous help to you during this time. She was also a very familiar face to many people on the BYC team, was she not?
She actually had in Europe a job in communications of BASF. So we found her a good job to be the chief representative of BASF in Nanjing, to organize the life, or the private part of the life of all the delegates of BASF from foreign countries who came to work to Nanjing, who lived there with their families.
Your wife passed away in early 2003, a year before the official opening of the BYC project. How did you feel at this time of celebration?
My boss really in Germany asked me whether I would go on with the job. You can decide against it and do something quite different, or you stay on your job and say, this is a duty I have to carry out. And I decided for the latter option because I think it was in her sense too. Yes, you're right. There was feeling only one moment when I had to give a speech after our opening, because fair enough, you had also to mention her and her share to it. So this was quite emotional, and so I was a little bit afraid of mentioning and kind of breaking down. Okay, I managed, and but that is certainly very deep emotions. On one hand, joy and satisfaction that this great job was done by the whole team, and on the other hand, having to refer to somebody who would have really enjoyed it to experience this moment.
It's impossible to overstate the size of the BYC project. Thousands of people from many, many different countries and, more importantly, cultures. Now, these people are not big steel pipes that we see outside on the BYC site. They are people with real ideas and real emotions. What is the secret to taking such a huge variety of people and bringing them together to work in order and in harmony?
Really good question, because this business is done by people. And I think what helped was not necessarily the official measures at work, like team building, employing professionals doing it, but also just off-time activities and simple things like having a few beers together and just talk to each other. And this helped certainly to develop the necessary respect for the other person.
From a small fishing village to a fully integrated petrochemical site in such a short time. And as I know, you are in addition one of the most honored foreigners in Jiangsu province. You must be very proud of what you've achieved. Now surely you can allow yourself a little bit of relaxation.
I try to keep my health, which means I do some minimal activities actually on running and keeping in shape. You need, of course, also kind of mental relaxation. Take off from the daily business. And that's, for me, is simple. Reading a book is the best for me, because I can stop anytime and start again. And I think this helps a lot. And the real secret is you don't need much of this time, but you need quality time.
Time is known, of course, to be a great healer. And now BYC is a successful business. Can you see a time in the future where you may get married again?
I mean, living in this country now for 10 years, I'm somehow happy that I met a Chinese person who I would like to marry one day. Yes, it's the right time.
Dr. Blumenberg's moving comments perhaps remind us of the Chinese expression, "No hard-hearted man make a true hero." The qualities we have seen today, be they a genuine caring for people or a respect for human feelings, assure the continued success of Dr. Bernd Blumenberg and the huge steel structure that is the chemical giant BYC. This has been Up the Yangtze with a paddle, in which today we have seen just a little bit of what lies behind the steel. Thank you for allowing us to join you today.